At our regularly scheduled board meeting, the governing board approved a 4-day week for the next 2 calendar school years. I appreciate the governing board's courage and leadership in making that decision. One of the challenges we have had in Apache Junction Unified School District is our financial resources. And as I've said a number of times before, it becomes very difficult for us in order to attract and retain quality staff. Some of our neighboring districts have quite a bit larger salary scales and are in positions to provide salary increases, and we are not in that position at this time. And so the ability to offer a 4-day week is seen as an avenue and a tool to attract and retain staff. And the reason why it's important to do that is because as a district, our expectation is that on any given day, we provide your son and your daughter the opportunity to learn as they deserve. And the way that that's achievable is by having quality staff. And the hope is, and the belief is, that a 4-day work week allows us to be more competitive in the job market. The governing board also, though, was very clear that this is a process that we have to monitor, because at the end of the day, the expectation of achieving our goals, whether it's a 4-day work week or a 5-day work week or a 6-day work week, we must achieve our goals. And so we will continue to revisit some of the indicators of success in order to make sure that we're making decisions and modifying and adjusting as we go in order to accomplish and achieve our expectation. One of the things I think is important for you as a parent or as a community member is to take a look at the 2016-2017 calendar. That's up on our website, and it gives you an idea of when we start school, when we stop school, when our breaks are. I know a number of parents have reached out to us and asked when we would have that calendar so they could begin making plans for next year. So that's on our website. In addition, on our website, we have the new start and stop times for all 5 of our campuses. And one of the things that we had heard from parents this year was a desire to have some times be different for the start and the stop at both the elementary, the junior high, and the high school. We're going to begin starting next year at the junior high and high school at 7 o'clock, and the end time is going to be a half an hour later than it is this year. And the half an hour later is purposeful. Another thing we heard from parents was there's not enough time. Although we're currently exceeding the minimum time requirement as defined by the state of Arizona, we recognize that if we can add more minutes during the course of the day, that gives our students a better opportunity to learn. So we're going to add an additional 30 minutes on each of our days at the junior high and high school in order to help facilitate that opportunity to learn. It also makes it more convenient to students attending EVIT. One of the challenges we had this year was students attending EVIT at times had to have a kind of an adjusted schedule in order to get down to EVIT in time and get back on time. And that's not good for kids, and it's not good practice for EVIT. So by adding that additional time, it makes those students who are attending EVIT a much easier process for them to take their classes here in Apache Junction and then get in the car or on the bus and go attend classes in EVIT. We also heard from some of our seniors this year that were frustrated that in years past, as a senior potentially, they only had to take 4 classes, and this year they had to take 5 classes. Although the time that students were released this year was very much comparable to years prior, but by adjusting our time at the junior high and high school by a half an hour longer each day, those seniors who are eligible because they've achieved enough credits are only going to be required to take 4 classes this next school year versus the 5. At our elementary schools, we did not adjust the length of the day. And the reason why we didn't adjust the length of the day is because we had heard from parents that it was already a long day for elementary students. Again, when we look at the minutes that were required at the elementary level, as defined by the state of Arizona, we are above those minutes. But we're above those minutes because we believe there's quite a bit of work that we can do with our students during the course of a day. But extending that time by half an hour like we did with the junior high and high school didn't seem to make sense. And so we did not change the length of the day at the elementary schools, but we did get all 3 of our elementary schools on the same start time and the same release time. And that was important to us for a couple reasons. One, it makes the facilitation of transportation easier. But 2, we also wanted to be able to be in a position where if we have elementary collaboration or elementary programming, having elementary schools on different start times and release times made it much more problematic for us organizationally. So we did move all of our elementary schools to the same start time and release time. The junior high and high school are on the same start time and release time, which starts at 7 o'clock next year and ends at half an hour later. All of those schedules are on our website. I would encourage you to take a look at them. Also, the bell schedule for the junior high and high school is also on our website, so you can begin getting an idea as a parent or as a student or as a community member what your next year will look like. I share all this with you because a couple things. One, I compliment the governing board's decision in order to look for solutions that allow us to remain competitive in the job market. But I also recognize that as a community, the 4-day week has been a challenge initially. I thank you for your patience. I also encourage you to make sure that you really assess how this year has gone for you. One of the things that I have been appreciative of is that suggestions and concerns that have been raised, we've looked for the possibility of a solution, but also a lot of the suggestions and concerns that have been raised over the course of time have worked themselves out. And parents and community members who a year ago were telling me that this 4-day work week was not going to be a good thing have since changed some of that opinion. And I think that that's part of a process of being different or doing something different. Initially, it's frustrating and it's concerning and it's overwhelming, but as you work out the kinks and you look for ways to modify and adjust, you wind up having an opportunity potentially to provide an even better learning experience because we're able to attract and retain staff that normally we may not be able to because we can't pay. And the fifth day, the Friday in which we're not in session, parents that at one time told me they had no idea what was going to happen with their children have come back to me and said it's been great because there have been these groups of parents that have rotated weekly in order to facilitate opportunities for kids to have engagement. The City of Apache Junction has done a fantastic job stepping up to the table and providing a fifth-day option. As a district, we're going to continue to look for solutions to that fifth day because I do think that there is still some need and still some concern about what kids do on that fifth day. I would just encourage you to make sure that you take a look at the totality of the year and recognize that we're making decisions in the best interest of your children in order to give them the opportunity to learn as they deserve. Again, please make sure you take a look at the website and take a look at the calendar, the start and stop times, and the bell schedules for next year. And I look forward to being a part of the 4-day week for the next 2 school years. And if you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks.